Sitaram, welcome to SWA DHARMA, carried exclusively on Sankhya TV on Thursdays between 6:30 p.m. and 7 p.m. A program where we look at some of the basic concepts in Sanatana Dharma. We use approved references in Sanatana Dharma to guide the process, and in that way one can make informed decisions, one can have a better idea of some of the working principles of Sanatana Dharma. We are continuing our little sojourn on the Samskaaras. We are on Samskar number 14, which is the Vivah Sanskar, or the marriage ceremony. We have broken the program into two. The first part, we ended on the Kanyadan ceremony during the wedding Samskar. And just a quick reminder on what we discussed on the last occasion as we move into the other stages in the wedding ceremony. So we last spoke about Kanyadan, its relevance, its importance, and we were pointing out, and it was an ideal opportunity to point out, that where the wife should stand in ceremonies. We reference Ramayana, Janakabam Dishi Soha Sunaina, Himagiri Sangha Bani Janu Maina, that Sunaina, the spouse of Emperor Dasrat, Dasrat and Sunaina being the parents of Mother Sita, at the marriage ceremony of Sita Devi to Shri Ram Chandra, when that Kanyadan was about to be performed, Sunaina occupied her rightful position on the right of Emperor Dasrat. It is described in the quotation. She was at the Vam Dishi, which you call Vam or Ishan Kun or Northeast. How that pans out, we will take a look here. So in the wedding ceremony, the Pandit sits here, he's facing north. The groom is facing east, and at the Kanyadan time, the wife is brought to the altar by her parents, and this is the position we are talking about, that Sunaina is on the right. If the northeast of this Vedika, of the altar, it's on this corner, and if we were to be technical, northeast will be at this corner and a little backward if Emperor Dasrat is standing there. Obviously, that is taken into account because major part of the Kanyadan ceremony, the younger brother or the rep of the bride is going to pour the water on the loy or the sankas, we have said. And when the Pandit recites, during which time the Pandit recites the Sankalp for the Kanyadan. So she's a little to the back, but northeast of him, ideally to allow the brother to come advance and perform that part. Vam Dishi being Ishan Kun or the northeasterly direction. So continuing the Vivah Samskar, the bride having been brought over, she sits on the right-hand side of her husband. The parents have retreated, and the rest of the ceremony is continued, performed by the couple, newlywed couple, and conducted as obviously by the Pandit. So they engage in their first puja. So after the Kanyadan, performance of Havan is the next stage in the wedding ceremony. It's short and concise. The wife sitting on the right, they make oblations into the Havan Kund. And of the deities that are offered, and it's ghee in this case, is the samidha, is the fuel for that oblation. Two important deities are Lord Indra, the Lord of Celestials, the Lord of Rainfall, who sits on the northern side of the Havan Kund, and Agni Devta, the God of Fire, who sits on the southern side. This is pointed out because this is their position in a Havan Kund. However, as far as the directional positions are concerned, east, west, north, south, etc., Indradev is on the eastern side, Agni Devta is on the southeastern side. So of any plot of land, of any puja room, of any country, of any temple, that's their fixed positions. However, in a Havan Kund, that is where they occupy, and when the oblations are made, they are made in those relevant directions as we feed the gods. So the next stage in the wedding ceremony is the exchange of malas. So either party will garland each other. The Pandit has the accompanying mantra. At the end of it, the wife will touch her husband's feet, seeking his blessings. In that mantra, or one of the more popular mantras when the mala is placed by the dulaha on the dulahin, on the groom, on the bride, he says, the Pandit says, O mandara pari jatari patlikit kanicha. That if the husband says, if I had the wherewithal and the access, I would have gone to the orchard of Indradev. I have gone to select places and plucked select flowers to make this garland and so garland you. So it's a bit of esteem. It's not just garlanding. It's a bit of esteem expressed in the mantra, where the groom begins honoring the bride from the very first conferring of a mala on her. We give an example here, a shot of the parijat. It's available locally, and it's a very, very important flower. Lends a lot of potency when we perform any Devi Puja, and we include the parijat in that offering, whether it's a mala or whether we offer the flower singly. It's a very, very, it lends potency, if you see, to that mantra. So the expression of the mantra is accompanied by the actual plucking of a parijat flower and presented to garland the deity, to garland the Devi. One little tip on the parijat. Sometimes when it blossoms in the morning, it falls off from the tree. It will perish during the course of the day. But if puja is going to be done in evening time, one can refrigerate, and it's all well and good, like most flowers. So we have, as we go on in the wedding ceremony, we have now the Pau Puji, where the couple, the newly wedded couple, is honored, and that honoring is led by the bride's parents, father and mother. They will, among other things, bestow chandan, garland the couple, and they offer fragrance, and arati is performed. Then gifts are presented. We will return to this shortly, and then other relatives are invited, if they so wish, to participate, perform the little puja, make their offerings in honoring the couple, in welcoming the groom as an addition, a valuable addition to this family. The gifts presented. Now, traditionally, it's Tarya and Luta. But when we put things in context, in the days of yore, they were baratan. They were the vessels that one would eat and drink from. What happens nowadays, where that modus operandi has changed and changed significantly, the lotas and taryas that are offered remain as a decoration, possibly stashed away somewhere in the house, never to resurface until possibly a puja is there. And if a puja is there, they may hardly need a couple of lota and tarya. So a lot of it remains there. It becomes sometimes an onerous task, occasionally to clean and shine up these brass vessels. But the point is, what is the relevance? So maybe we might have to rethink what is offered as a gift, as baritan, in the Pau Puji ceremony. So with the wedding, the malas having been conferred on each other, we now move to the next stage in the marriage, the exchange of rings. Be reminded that the wife is still on the right-hand side. Pandit blesses the rings. He will most times offer a bit of akshat, leave some of it in boxes where the rings are stored from time to time, because that's where the blessings lie. The rings are exchanged, of course, in the ring fingers. We call it the ring finger of the left hand. And one interesting point, and a reminder, married males also remember to wear their rings from this point in time. Because most times, married couples, you will see the wife would have her rings displayed and she would wear them, no hesitation at all. But somewhere along the line, and we are still searching for the justified reasons, the males, the grooms, have reservations about wearing the ring. And to be fair, it's not, if we are talking about equality in a marriage institution, the males ought to step up to the plate and so wear the ring, because it's a good indication, like the sindoor of the female, which we will come to. It's a good indication, a good benchmark that heralds a bit of respect for that individual, for that male, in that he belongs to a married institution. Then comes the registration with marriage. This is the legal aspect of it. There are little tips here that can help to save time and can help to have a free flow of the ceremony. And the data that is necessary for signing of the marriage certificate ought to be taken before, because there's got to be spell checks. If it goes to the relevant authority and there are spelling errors and so forth, it could be a back and forth process, and that could sometimes get lost or delayed in translation. So have the data and looked at and secured before the marriage. Be reminded that a witness from each party, each side, needs to be a signatory to the document. And after that has been done, the pundit can follow up on the registration and retrieving of the marriage certificate. Then comes Bhawar. Bhawar is circumambulation of the fire. And this is done 7 times. We will just analyze it in a little more detail here. The bride will lead for the first 4 rounds of those 7 rounds. At the end of each circumambulation, she occupies her position on the right-hand side with the husband. Be a little cautious, because remember, they are bound together by the piece of cloth. And so one carefully manages that. So after leading the first time around, she comes and she's positioned on the right-hand side of the husband. And there they make their first oblation after the first circumambulation of the lava that has been parched and prepared. It is poured by the younger brother who performed the kanyadan of the bride onto what we'll call a fan, it's straw, and so it is shaken onto inside the Havan Kund, and this is accompanied by the recitation of the relevant mantras by the Pandit. So the process is repeated 3 times. She goes around 4 times, and then the groom will take the lead, and he now will lead for 3 rounds. Now there are minor variations in the circumambulation with the fire. There is what is known as the saptapadi, whereby sometimes in the last round, both of them will walk side by side and make 7 steps simultaneously, during which time certain relevant mantras are recited by the Pandits. So a little word on the saptapadi, these 7 steps. Now, according to the Hindu Marriage Act of 1955 in India, after the culmination of this stage, the wedding is then considered consecrated. So that's the legal take on it. But what is the spiritual take on a wedding ceremony? So be reminded that in any Hindu ritual, in any undertaking, a sankalp, it is mandatory somewhere towards the beginning of the undertaking, the ceremony, one has to perform, or the Pandit rather, has to recite the sankalp. The sankalp essentially states, among other factors, the actual positions of the grahas. And that is read and taken from the patra, because in any sankalp, the first call devatas to bear testimony to the undertaking that will be logged in the book of karma is the grahas, the grahas and their position. So once a sankalp is undertaken, recited by the Pandit, then whether it's a puja, whatever undertaking we are maneuvering there, it is officially logged. So premised on that basic tenet, in the Kanyadan ceremony, that the sankalp is recited. There's a Kanyadan sankalp which we discussed earlier in the previous program. So that is where the authentication takes place, where the relevant deities bear testimony that this has been done. So on the spiritual side of it, like in any religious ceremony in Hinduism, the sankalp is what authenticates that this ceremony has been performed, has been undertaken. If even, God forbid, for some whatever reason, the ceremony has to be stopped, whatever ceremony we are participating in, the recitation of the sankalp would have still held strongly in the book of karma that yes, it was logged that the sankalp is a desire to do. And many things in life we desire to do but don't come to fruition. And that is what the deities recognize, the desire, the genuine desire to do, and that is recorded in the Sankalp. So that's why we're saying it may have to be revisited when it's actually the consecration time of the marriage, and revisited from a spiritual point of view rather than simply a legal point of view. Then comes the Shilarohan, where the wife's right foot is, she's instructed by the Pandit to touch a stone that should have been guarded or got in position long before the ceremony. Of the things that we have to get for the ceremony, a stone will be one. Now, many times we have seen that the lorha, the stone that is used on the Vedika to tie one of the kangans, is transferred now for the wife to touch that stone with her foot. It's not a very prudent, it's not in good taste to do that. Have one separate to perform that. And she does this because it signifies, it brings home to her two qualities of the stone. First of all, and Pandit will instruct her as the ceremony is being done, that just as the stone is sturdy, so too she has to nurture that quality of sturdiness within her, because with it comes that endurance, which is a key to progeny. Sanatana Dharma had said long ago, one of the problems of the world is that children making children, children bringing forth children into the world. When we say children, not by age, by attitude and maturity. And at the Shilarohan ceremony, the Pandit has his discussions, brief as it is, to the person, and a reminder to the audience that this is how progeny, this is how we bring offsprings into the world, that they have got to feed off a certain maturity, a certain endurance, a certain stealth in that mother who brings forth the child. The groom, at the termination of the mantra and explanation, now gently removes her foot with his right foot. Gently removes her foot with his right foot. Now comes the vows. Be reminded, Vamangi, where the wife goes and left, has not yet been undertaken. And in the vows, we have put up here the first vow. The male, the groom, is asked to acknowledge and approve of 7 requests, 7 vows posed to him by the bride. And then subsequently, the groom makes 5 requests or 5 vows to the bride, which is expected she would accede to. Of the first of the 7 vows of the male, the groom, we read here, Tirthe vrato dhyapana, yagyadana maya sahatam yadi kant karya, Vamanguma mayami tara turiyam jagar vakyam pratama kumari. She says, I ask, if you take me as I am, she is on his right hand side. Let it not be too much of a belabored point. Vamangi has not yet been done. She has not gone across to the left. And she states here, take me as I am on your right. When? Tirtha, when you are visiting pilgrimages. Vrata, when you are performing different types of vrat, which is austerities. When you are performing yagya, when you are performing acts of dana. Take me as I am, maya saha, with you. And when you do that, vamanguma mayami, then with this and the other 7 conditions, and having acceded to your 5 conditions, then I will come as your wife on the left. So this just endorses the previous quotation made on Kanyadan, where the wife position should be in certain undertakings. Now, we have said it, and it's good with repeating, that the reason why the rishis and munis have spoken about the importance of the position of the wife and the groom, or husband and wife, it is because of the qualities we want matching each other, next to each other, controlled by different parts, different hemispheres in the brain. So there is a significance, a scientific significance for that. The vows, SVV always listens, and we sit in unison, we discuss, and it was felt that we should discuss the vows as a separate program. So that will be done in detail the next time we meet. So the next stage after the vows is the Surya Darshan, the blessings, the sight and blessings of either Suryanarayan Swami or the pole star, which you call Dhruva. And the blessings of the sun, they are sought because survival of the entire world and all its beings are dependent on the sun. And this is the beginning of an institution. So definitely Surya Darshan is recommended, the blessings of Suryanarayan Swami. This couple is just hereby asked to face the sun. So if the marriage ceremony is being conducted sometime before midday, they will face the conventional east. If it's after midday, the couple will carefully turn around and face west. Again, we have to be cognizant of the fact that they are tied together. So one has got to maneuver that before there's any tangling and unwanted accidents, as the case may be. Now, having undergone these stages, Varamangi, now we come to the wife having been comfortable and mutual agreement will now take up her position on the left-hand side. So Panditji recites a mantra and the wife will now take her position carefully on the left-hand side. She's still physically tied to her husband. And it's the importance that we need to mention here of positioning on the left are across the board. Whenever they have to take pictures, including the pictures of the marriage day, the wife should be on the left-hand side. All pictures like that should be, the wife goes on the left-hand side. For sleeping arrangements, she's on the left. And for bestowing blessings to children, etc., she is on the left. That's why sometimes we look at a couple of the murtis or the pictures and we'll see, but look, the Radha or the Sita is on the left-hand side. That is because we are the children of God. We have gone to them to perform puja and seek their blessings. So Sita Mata, Radha Mata, Lakshmi Mata, Saraswati Mata, Durga Mata, whichever of the deities, they will be worshipped. You will see the spouse on the right and they on the left, because they are we are going to them as children. So that's why they dare to give those blessings. Then the Sindur Dan is performed. The Sindur, the husband is the first one who decorates the head of the bride with the Sindur. This is usually done in privacy, so one might find a sheet or so is used to cover the couple because it is an important part of the dressing process. It's done in privacy. The procedure will be this: the husband will take these two fingers of the right hand, the thumb, and the ring finger, well, yes, what he calls the ring finger. Noteworthy is that at the base of each of the fingers, some of the grahas reside, certain grahas reside. Shukracharya, among his portfolio is health, and Suryanarayan Swami, among his portfolio is Shanti or peace. They reside at the base of these relevant fingers. So the husband puts these two fingers together, and with that he bestows 7 times across the middle of the forehead, going up to the head on the Dulahin. So that is the recommended procedure, and the reasons have been mentioned here. At the end of it all, the bride's sister or sister-in-law, elder sister or sister-in-law is asked to come and make sure, Bahuri di Sindur, make sure all is well, the hair is intact, there's no smearing inadvertently, and so she is bestowed a gift for this little act by the bride's father. The wearing of the Sindur, one cannot overstate. It is important for the married female to wear it. It gives that aura of respect. Then comes the Tag Part ceremony, where the woolen garland, most times pinkish in color, is bestowed by the groom's elder brother or a representative, and he affixes it around the neck of the bride. And the reasons for this ceremony is that he accepts the role as the first call marriage counselor, if there is need. He must not show any bias to either side, because although coming from the boy's side, he has to have that ability and maturity not to show any biases if there is a tiff or a difference between couple in the future. He must display confidentiality. His lips have to be sealed. He cannot air what is told in confidence in each and every court, in any court for that matter. And he must understand too that as an elder brother, he has a call over his younger sibling. And it should be no different in a marriage institution, that the younger brother does not graduate to a different level. He still is the younger brother and ought to be admonished by his elder brother. So the Natal Samskaaras is now at the end stage, and it's understandable that the Ashirvad or blessings are showered on the couple. So Akshat is distributed to, that is the colored white rice, is distributed to the pandits, to the groom's father, to the bride's parents, to the groom's brother-in-law, and any sadhus and sadhwines who might be present. The Akshat is given to them. This is important. It's not each and everybody should be called to the altar, as much as respect and love everyone, but it's people who live a certain lifestyle, who what we participate of in meals that day and days before and times before, who live that lifestyle, can be vested with the qualities to bestow blessings. Other than that, we bestow good wishes, and good wishes is a far cry from good blessings. So this is the category of people we want of that lifestyle. We ask them to advance, courteously ask them to advance to the Vedika, and as the Pandit recites his mantras, his incantation, there will be certain junctures he pauses, and then Akshat is gently thrown on the couple, with each individual bestowing their abundant blessings upon the couple. The final stage, the ceremonial final stage, is Nirajan, where with lit camphor, the couple bid a fond farewell to the deities that have been asked to be present on the altar for the marriage ceremony. There are just some concluding stages we touch on. Khichdi, this is optional, whereby the groom and his selected party are asked to partake of a bit of sweet rice, a bit of kheer, and money, dakshina and so forth is given to them to give them a good start in life, to give him a good start in life. But it is, be reminded, it's an optional part of the ceremony. The bride's father, and parents, if they so wish, can bestow these gifts in a different manner. Be cautious about the arrival time at the groom's home. Always try to avoid, if a wedding is conducted during the daytime, roughly the last hour and 15 minutes approximately before sunset. That has also been discussed at some point in time. And then there are certain portions of the day, if the wedding has completed earlier, there are certain portions of the day we circumvent. That could be pulled up at SVVTT.com, our calendar. We have all the data worked out there for you. And finally, the Kangan, the Pandit will organize to remove the Kangan. What is done with the Kangan? It's recommended it's buried. Sometimes near a fig tree, a banana tree root, or any such similar locations. As we conclude, it is noteworthy that the female's choice of not entering a marriage institution in Sanatan Dharma has always been respected. That's her choice, her call. If after entering the marriage institution, separation, either voluntary, and if it's going to be like that, it has to be under sage advice, either from the Guru, Pandit, as the case may be, or, God forbid, through death, there is separation. It's not the end of the world. The capable gurus and sadgurus will be, there are references to guide the future, whereby the wedded female who is now separated from husband, it's not the end of the day. And this we need to mention. So once again, we thank you for joining us here on Sankhya TV for our program SWA DHARMA. And we meet and greet next week to continue our little sojourn on the wedding vows. In the meantime, be safe. God bless. Sitaram.